Melle Mel, the hip-hop culture sort of thrown out of America at the moment seems to be very high on mythology. I was wondering how characters like yourself actually get these grand titles like Grandmaster. How does that come about?
Well, the original Grandmaster was a gentleman called Grandmaster Flowers. He was a DJ in New York. And somehow Flash grafted it onto his name, the original member of the group, Grandmaster. He was the original Grandmaster. But I guess it's just a name that, somebody just makes up to put on themselves to make them seem like, they're something that, are a little more than they already are.
So it doesn't have to be earned then in any way, does it?
No. I mean, at first it was, but as it is now, how things get kind of diluted. Right now it's just something that, somebody's like an illusion, basically.
Because you're a Grandmaster yourself, aren't you?
Oh, no, not me. I just had, the benefit of being given the name, into a sense, because the original name of the group was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Mm-hmm. And when Flash left the group, we had wanted to continue on with the group, so we had to keep, all the essence of the group that we could possibly keep without using Flash's name. So we kept the Grandmaster. They pushed me up into the front and the Furious Five. So, the Grandmaster isn't nothing that I, really live by, because I didn't need, the name Grandmaster to get as far as I got, and I definitely won't need it to take me where I want to go. So it's just something that's there for business purposes alone.
Was it a painful split there between you and Grandmaster Flash?
Yeah, because like it really took, a long period of time for it to actually be over, like like a long period of time. I was thinking that, something would happen and that it would settle down and everybody could go out, and be the same group we was, but then, I had to come to the reality that it was over. So, now it's just time to just go through the motions now and don't wait.
Do you ever see Flash these days?
Well, I see him, here and now,
I was wondering if there was a lot of rivalry between not just the two of you, but the other sort of big producers, DJs and rappers on the New York scene. I'm thinking of Arthur Baker and maybe Jelly Bean Benitez as well. Are you all good friends or are you all rivals?
Well, as far as the producers, is nothing in between producers and artists, but as far as the artist to artist, it is a lot of rivalry, but, they try to keep it basically like under the carpet type thing, But I'm not really ashamed or afraid to say it is a rivalry, because that's the only thing that can keep a person very sharp, is to see that another person is doing something, and then you could, try in your best ability to try to, outdo them.
I think you'll agree that a lot of the reason for the success behind acts such as yours is the New York club scene. Can you tell us a bit about it? Because I think all of us over here in Europe are quite in love with the New York club scene, but know very little about it. What goes on there?
Well, basically, the New York club scene is probably just about the same as it is out here in London, but the only thing is that the hours, it goes from like a little later, So it's anything that you can do in London, you could do in America, but you could do it a few hours more. It stretches out a little more, and it has a lot more variations. It has all kinds of different clubs that has different kinds of atmospheres, because being that there's so many places to go. But basically, it's just the same thing as out here. If you go out to a club, it may be a punk club or it may be like the elegant type of club, but it just stays open. It's like the difference is from 3 to 7.
Which is why you're wearing your sunglasses today, right? But is the New York club scene the same as London, in that in London, certain clubs become very fashionable for maybe just a few months and then it all moves on to a different club? Does that happen in New York?
Yeah, it's because basically the club scene and the night scene is like it's grafted from London over to New York. Because like certain parts of town, you would think that you would be in London, or certain clubs, you would think that you're in London with all the punk rockers and the crazy haircuts. So it's all like a graft, because being that America and London does have, strong ties even now, and so it's grafted, and it's basically the same. It's just like I said, from 3 to 7. That's what you must magnify.
Being something of a New York celebrity, though, isn't it difficult for you to get into these clubs and not be recognised?
Well, kind of like yes and no, because we have the kind of fame that's not actually fame. It's like being infamous in most terms. That's how we're looked at, even though it's not a bad, like a negative kind of thing. But we don't have, I want to rip your clothes off. It's not one of them things. It's like a respect thing because of the things that we say and what we do and where we've come from. The position that we take in the neighborhood and in society itself, is more of a respect thing and not like that. So we could just come in as like kind of a low-key thing. We walk in, sit down, dance, whatever, but it's low-key.
Do you ever wish you got this sort of attention that meant you got your clothes ripped off, though?
No, not really. Only between 12 and 1. But I don't think, like the kind of person that I am, I wouldn't want to get my clothes ripped off. you know.
Beat Street Breakdown. The king of the beat, you see her rocking that beat from across the street. And Beat Street is a lesson too, because you can't let the streets beat you. Well, a picture can express 1,000 words to describe all the beauty of life you give. And if the world was yours to do over, I know you'd paint a better place to live, where the colors would swirl and the boys and girls can grow in peace and harmony, and where murals stand on walls so grand as far as the eye are able to see. I never knew art till I saw your face, and there'll never be one to take your place, cause each and every time you touch a spray paint can, Michelangelo's soul controls your hands. Then serenades are blue and red, and the beauty of the rainbow fills your head. Crescendo colors playing tune, man, why oh why you have to die so soon? Say it 1, 2, 3, 4, just let me know what you came here for, and just clap your hands, everybody, and let me know that I'm not alone. And if you knew my man when he was alive, scream it out and say, Ramon, Ramon. I'm talking about ashes to ashes and dust to dust, where the good die young is all thy must, cause that life must live, death must die, and the tears shall fall from the living eye. Tell me who's gonna dream the impossible dream of the beautiful cities and the islands' dreams, when your works of art brought into being all that the ghetto stopped you from seeing. Still life urban masterpiece, your trademark was written on chains and walls, $1 million gift only God released, and yet you got killed for nothing at all. So after this there'll be no more hard times, no more bad times, and no more pain, no more chump change, none of that bull, just movies, museums, in the Hall of Fame. So all you hip-hops, get on up and let's take it to the top where we belong, cause the age of the Beat Street wave is here. Everybody let's sing along, now come on and say ho, say ho. And to let me know I'm rocking the microphone, everybody say remote, remote. A newspaper burns in the sand, and the headlines say man destroys man. Extra, extra, read all the bad news on the wall of peace that everybody will lose. The rise and fall, the last great empire, the sound of the whole world caught on fire. The ruthless struggle, the desperate gamble, the game that left the whole world in shambles. The cheats, the lies, the alibis, and the foolish attempt to conquer the skies. Lost in space, and what is it worth? The president just forgot about Earth, spending multi-billions and maybe even trillions. The cost of weapons ran in the zillions. There's gold in the street, and there's diamond under feet, and the children in Africa don't even eat. Flies on the faces, they're living like mice, and the houses even make the ghetto look nice. The water tastes funny, it's forever too sunny, and they work all night and don't make no money. A fight for power, a nuclear shower of people shout out in the darkest hour. The sights unseen and voices unheard, and finally the bomb gets the last word. Christian killed Muslims and German killed Jews, and everybody's bodies are used and abused. Minds are poisoned and souls are polluted. Superiority complexes deep rooted. Leeches and license, and people got prices. Egomaniacs control the self-righteous. Nothing is sacred and nothing is pure, so the revelation of death is our cure. Dachau, Auschwitz, Hiroshima, Vietnam, Leningrad, Iwo Jima, Okinawa, Korea, the Philippines. Devastation, death, cancer, killing machine. The people's in terror, the leaders made an error, and now they can't even look in the mirror, cause we gotta suffer while things get rougher, and that's the reason why we got to get tougher. So learn from the past and work for the future, and don't be a slave to no computer, cause the children of man inherits the land, and the future of the world is in your hands.